Hold on tight. We're about to plunge into a whirlwind of regulation, innovation, and global competition. At the center of this storm, California's SB 1047 AI safety bill. On the surface, it looks like a safety net, an effort to tame the unpredictable beast that is AI. But dig deeper, and you'll find concerns, not just from tech insiders, but from geopolitical analysts and innovation advocates who see this bill as a massive roadblock rather than a safety measure. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture first. While California ties itself up in regulatory knots, nations like China are sprinting ahead. Sprinting. In the race to dominate AI, China has made it abundantly clear that they're playing the long game, one where winning doesn't mean stopping to check if the rules are fair. With initiatives like their new generation AI development plan, China has set the stage to become the world's leader in AI by 2030. And they're not interested in playing nice. If California, the tech capital of the world, slows down, China will fill the void. And that's not just an economic issue. It's a national security nightmare. Think about it. AI isn't just about cool gadgets. It's about military applications, cybersecurity, surveillance, areas where falling behind could have disastrous consequences. In 2020, the National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence released a report warning that the US wasn't moving fast enough to stay ahead of China. And here we are in 20 debating a bill that could effectively put a speed limit on innovation. The irony isn't lost on anyone paying attention. But let's not get too bogged down in the geopolitical quagmire. There's another pressing concern: innovation throttling. When has regulation ever sparked a tech revolution? Spoiler alert, it hasn't. Silicon Valley didn't become the epicenter of the tech world because it was told what it couldn't do. It thrived because of the freedom to experiment, to fail, and to iterate. Now, enter SB 1047, which threatens to shackle that very spirit. Consider Europe's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, a well-intentioned piece of legislation designed to protect user privacy. What did it achieve? Sure, it protected privacy, but it also stifled innovation. According to a report by the Information Technology and Innovation Foundation, the GDPR has cost European tech startups billions in lost revenue and stunted growth. Is that the future we want for California's AI sector? A regulatory environment so stringent that it drives talent, investment, and innovation to other regions? Let's not forget that capital is a coward. It doesn't stick around where it's not welcome. The repercussions of SB 1047 could be devastating for startups. Think about it. A small AI startup with limited funding now has to allocate resources to compliance rather than innovation. They're not building the next revolutionary AI tool, they're trying to navigate a regulatory maze. And guess who benefits? The big players. The Googles, the Amazons, and the Metas of the world. They have the resources to comply with whatever regulations are thrown their way. But the little guys, they get squeezed out, their innovative ideas buried under piles of red tape. This is not a theoretical risk. It's a pattern we've seen before in other heavily regulated industries. But even if we set aside concerns about competition and innovation, there's still a very real question of trust. Can we trust the California legislature to fairly manage the regulation of AI? Historically, regulatory bodies have often failed to keep pace with the rapid development of technology, leading to either overreach or gaps in enforcement. Moreover, there's a very real risk that regulations could be weaponized for political purposes. Imagine AI regulations being selectively enforced or used as leverage against companies that don't align with certain political interests. The vagueness of some of the provisions in SB 1047 opens the door to this kind of manipulation, where AI companies could find themselves on the wrong side of the law simply because they were pursuing innovations that didn't sit well with regulatory bodies. The issue is not just theoretical. In recent years, we've seen increased tension between tech companies and government bodies. The California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, while well-intentioned, has also been critiqued for its ambiguous language and for creating a regulatory environment that is difficult for smaller companies to navigate. What's to stop SB 1047 from falling into the same trap? Complex regulations are often the breeding grounds for unintended consequences, and in a field as critical as AI, those consequences could be dire. Moreover, who's to say that SB 1047 will remain static? Legislation tends to evolve, and what starts as a well-meaning attempt at ensuring AI safety could morph into something far more restrictive. Once regulations are in place, it's much easier to tighten them than to loosen them. What happens when future legislators decide that AI needs even more stringent oversight? Where does it stop? This is where innovation and regulation need to strike a balance, but SB 1047 threatens to tip the scales too far in favor of regulation at the expense of creativity. AI is too important, too transformative to be hampered by an overly cautious approach. So what's the alternative? Rather than slamming the brakes on AI development, why not steer the industry toward ethical and responsible innovation through incentives, rather than punitive measures? Tax breaks for companies that prioritize transparency and ethical AI use, grants for startups focusing on AI safety research, and collaborative frameworks that bring together government, academia, and industry could always be effective ways of ensuring that AI progresses safely without stifling innovation. California has always been a beacon for tech innovation, but if SB 1047 passes in its current form, we risk dimming that light, allowing other regions, both domestic and international, to take the lead in AI. This isn't just a debate about technology, it's about California's future as a global tech hub. In conclusion, SB 1047 is a double-edged sword. While it aims to protect us from the risks associated with AI, it also threatens to hobble the very innovation that makes AI so promising in the first place. As we stand at this crossroads, it's crucial to consider not just the immediate implications of regulation, but the long-term consequences for innovation, competition, and global leadership in AI. What's your take? Is SB 1047 a necessary safeguard or a step too far in the wrong direction? Share your thoughts in the comments. And that's a wrap for our deep dive into SB 1047. If this video gave you food for thought, hit that like button. For more on the cutting edge of tech and regulation, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible